New Territories villagers demanded legalizations of the illegal housing structures. Our camera reveals the police raid on tainted cooking oil. Thanks to your company.
Making news in Perth, Ivan Leung's exclusive interview with WA Labor's star candidate Reece Whitby. And Barack Obama made it clear that he will use whatever power to prevent more killings.
This is the Evening News.
Good evening. New Territories villagers held a demonstration demanding the government to legalise their illegal housing structures. The protest comes as the Chief Executive's illegal housing structure scandal refuses to go away. Chief Correspondent Queenie Lee has more.
Hundreds of New Territories villagers held a petition at the central government offices last Saturday. They demanded the government to legalise the unauthorised building works. They also insisted the government to revise the building ordinance and withdraw the reporting scheme for unauthorised building works in New Territories exempted houses. Villagers determined that they will not accept the reporting scheme and will not remove the unauthorised building works of their homes. Spokesperson of the New Territories Concerned Group, Junius Ho, indicated that the reporting scheme is unlawful and unfair to the villagers.
We expect the government to do something even farther than that, more than that. We expect the government to come up with a more comprehensive proposal to deal with the so-called illegal structure problems, the UBWs, the unauthorized building works. The things that we are now asking is the government should review the existing outdated law, namely the CAP 123, that is outdated. And secondly, we also ask the existing application of the minor construction work should be extended so that, to enable property owners to have the right to apply for building or enhancing their own property in a regulated manner. At the moment, the minor construction works does not apply to most of the cases that we are now talking about.
In the end of the event, the concerned group submitted a big banner to the Development Bureau with villagers' signatures. Queenie Lee, DHK News, Hong Kong.
There's major change in the Democratic Party's leadership team, with Emily Lau becoming the party's chairwoman, while Richard Choi and Loh Kin Hei have both become vice presidents. Ms Lau said the party will continue to hold the government accountable with peaceful methods. She also believes it was correct for the party to discuss the 2017 political reform package with the Chinese liaison last year.
Many Hong Kong people now see that the central government seem to be wavering on one country, two systems. The actions of the central government appear to be that they want to take away our freedoms and to undermine the rule of law. So we, of course, feel very strongly about it. And the people ask us to speak out and stop the interference from Beijing.
The general public continues to worry about the tainted cooking oil after the media exposed the productions. The local police and health officials have raided the alleged illegal factories in front of our news cameras on the weekend. As correspondent Godden Choi reveals, the tainted cooking oil was made with waste oil and food remains collected from restaurants every day.
The Food and Environmental Hygiene Department and the police broke into the alleged gutter oil production facility last Thursday afternoon. Barrels with peanut oil printed were placed all over the factory and at the corridor outside, with poor hygiene conditions inside. The FEHD says the factory is unlicensed and has taken 14 samples from a retailer and restaurants that consume products from the factory frequently. The department stayed for about 2 hours and left notes requesting the person in charge to contact them. The Fire Service Department conducted an investigation and pointed out that the factory has violated fire control law. Local newspapers found out that cooking oil from a factory in Kwai Chung Industrial Building were tainted, with carcinogen levels exceeding European standard. Staff of the factory denied the accusation. People in the cooking oil wholesale business told DHK News that normal cooking oil would be selling for about 25 Hong Kong dollars a caddy, but the factory is selling at an unreasonable low price of $7 a caddy. Godden Choi, DHK News, Hong Kong.
Here's Kristian Dwyer with what's coming up on DHK's current affairs program, WA Tonight.
Coming up on WA Tonight, dockers have got the Cockburn moving their operations to their neighbouring suburb. Apocalypse Now, your best way to avoid the impending end of the world, and we'll give you an exclusive insight into the inner workings of DHK News and WA Tonight. Join me after the evening news with Ivan Leung and Anna Godden.
Thanks, Kristian. Remember to stay tuned. At the Perth News, door knocking in Mollo becomes a daily gig for former Channel 7 journalist Reece Whitby after he became WA Labor Party's star candidate for the next state election. In this week's Election Watch, I've caught up with Mr. Whitby for an exclusive interview about what makes him want to become a politician and what are the local issues he'll have to face if he wins. Reece Whitby, welcome to Evening News.
Thank you very much.
Have you enjoyed being a television journalist?
I have. I was a television journalist for close to 30 years and I enjoyed, I think, every year of it, every moment of it. But there came a point after a long time at Channel 7 in Perth, of about 21 years, where I felt I wanted to do something else and I wanted to contribute to the community.
You haven't been a politician before. Why should Mollo trust you that you will be a good candidate representing them in Parliament?
I think that I've learnt a lot about the community here in Morley and about the community in Western Australia generally over the last 30 years as being a journalist, at the time I was a journalist. So I think I've got really good skills that people can, that I can put into action on behalf of people. I also have seen the way politicians and governments operate, and in my role as a journalist I was out there pulling up, trying to expose the shortcomings of the system, trying to say, listen, this is not good enough.
What are the issues you've identified in Mollo?
One of the big issues we face in Morley is delivering decent public transport. All across Perth there are rail services, train lines, in the north, the south, the east and the southeast. There's nothing here in the northeastern suburbs of Perth. The northeastern suburbs of Perth are missing out. They don't have their own rail service. They really need a massive improvement in public transport. So that's one of the things I'm keen to introduce.
Given that the coalition is basically likely to win in the next election, according to the polls, are you still confident that Labor can win?
My experience of politics last time suggests that you should never take anything for granted, that governments can be defeated unexpectedly, candidates can be defeated unexpectedly, that you really have to apply yourself, you should never take anything for granted, and you should never be arrogant. And I think Colin Barnett, as Premier, has shown that he's arrogant. I speak to so many people who have a view of Colin Barnett as someone who is arrogant.
And finally, will you go back to your old job if you lose this election again?
Look, I have all my focus on March 9 and I don't allow any speculation of a what if after if I'm not successful. So look, I'm putting all my energy into winning.
Reece Whitby, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
The state opposition has unveiled its ambitious plan to revolutionise Perth's rail network. The plan, named Metronet, was designed to relieve increasing traffic congestions in Perth suburbs by constructing more train line access across the metropolitan area. State political journalist Shibs has been following the story.
Opposition leader Mark McGowan unveiled on Sunday his government plans on expanding Perth's rail network. This ambitious plan, to be named Metronet, will see the construction of a North Circle line and a South Circle line, which will connect most of the future suburban centres together, as well as new rail lines to Ellenbrook and Perth Airport.
This is about beating the congestion crisis. This is about making sure we have a plan for rail that will meet the needs of our city for decades to come.
Last year, the Barnett government released the Public Transport for Perth in 2031 plan in response to Perth's growing congestion crisis. However, Mr McGowan has criticised Colin Barnett and the Liberal Party for continually breaking their public transport promises, like the building of the Ellenbrook Railway and the extending of the railway to Clarkson. He further accused Mr Barnett for prioritising inner-city projects at the expense of public transport services people in the suburbs need the most.
People always just think that during Labor's term of government all we built was the Mandurah Rail, there was the Thornley extension and there was the extension north from Joondalup as well. And I might add, Mr Barnett voted against all of those extensions of rail, and then they broke the hearts of the people of Ellenbrook and Morley by cancelling the rail that would have serviced those areas. They have no credibility on this issue.
The Australian Bureau of Statistics predicts that Perth's population will more than double by 2056 to 3.4 million people. Will Labor's new Metronet come to fruition and solve Perth's transportation woes? Only time will tell. Shibs, DHK News.
City of Cockburn has made beach access easy for disabled people by installing a beach matting service in Port Coogee. The City Mayor Leung welcomed the facility and wished other mayors or shire presidents to install beach mats in the area.
Just in time for Christmas, one of Perth's beaches is ready to welcome the southern community to enjoy summer at its best. Port Coogee beach matting will provide easy access to the beach for people with disabilities and the broader community, offering transport, tents and raised viewing areas. City of Cockburn Mayor Logan said this is a great initiative that will allow people with disabilities to experience the beach without limitations.
Very simple, but it is clever. And again, as we know, we all can access the beach quite easily, but it's making universal access available to everybody.
This development not only represents an increase in infrastructure for the City of Cockburn, but it also allows residents to experience Coogee Beach for Christmas and the upcoming months. The beach matting results from a partnership between the City of Cockburn and Port Coogee Development Australand and was funded through the Disability Services Commission's Accessible Communities Grant. Alexandra, Mollo, DHK News.
And to overseas news, US President Barack Obama has made a statement about the mass shootings in Newtown Primary which killed many innocent children. President Obama has made it clear that he will use whatever power to prevent more killings. He was speaking in the town of Newtown in Connecticut on Monday.
We can't tolerate this anymore. These tragedies must end. And to end them, we must change. We will be told that the causes of such violence are complex, and that is true. No single law, no set of laws can eliminate evil from the world or prevent every senseless act of violence in our society. But that can't be an excuse for inaction. Surely we can do better than this.
And that's how the world looks tonight. I'll have updates for you later.
Thanks for your company this year, and we'll see you again after the Christmas break.
So from us, it's Merry Christmas, and here's Kristian Dwyer with WA Tonight.
Thank you, Ivan and Anna. Good evening and welcome to WA Tonight, our final program for the year. Not because the world is ending, which we'll touch on a bit later in a feature, but because it's the end of our production year. So fear not, there'll be plenty more to come.